Okie doke. Let's get this going, shall we? What do you say? Well, that didn't test very well. Let's try that. What's going on here, kitty? Huh? Is the chat box working or what? Huh? Chat box isn't working. That's a bit weird. What's going on here, kitty? Huh. Let's reopen Twitch. It would suck if I was offline right now. No, I'm definitely live. It's not letting me type in chat, which is a bit weird. And no one's talked in chat yet. Let's just start a game and see what happens. I wonder why chat's being weird. Now I really am talking to myself. I'm normally talking to just myself, but now I really am. There we go. Okay, it's working. It's working. Alrighty. What do we want to start with here? Start with this guy. Patelny, how's it going? Omnicat is here. Leafeon Ninja. Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks. I'm not bad. Sudowoodo is pretty good in this matchup. Should probably get some Buzzwoles down. For some elixir shenanigans. And we'll just play this. So, if we assume they're great at the game, we should keep the N. Now, because Regirock is unfortunately weak to grass, Sudowoodo is not very good at using Watch and Learn because he'll just do 120. 130, 40, 150, 160, 170. We won't have the Regirock to help us get to 180 because it will be dead. So we probably need to attach the Buzzwole. There's also playing 100 games of Night March. Why not, hey? Why not? Why discard Sycamore instead of N? Because I'm assuming that they're going to get the Vikavolt. I'm planning for the worst case scenario. I'm assuming that Buddha will take the 2 prizes, so we want to respond with an N here. Can't you discard with Sudowoodo? No, because it copies the last attack. Oh, does it let me do the discard? Ooh, that's interesting. I need to actually check that. If I'm allowed to... Yeah, I guess I am allowed to. Huh. If so, I definitely should have attached a Sudowoodo. Learning. Watching and learning. This is the only thing we can't elixir to. I considered being good. Never crossed my mind. How's it going, Jake? Why be good when you can be lucky? Am I right, team? So even if you respond, Sudowoodo's ready to go. Field Blower's not important in the matchup. We should probably get another Pokemon established. I'm thinking now, is 2 Artillery too greedy? The answer is probably yes. Establishing a Lycanroc for next turn could be good. He responds somehow with a Bulu. I'm assuming they're gonna jump through hoops and somehow get it like an absolute champion. We'll have the Watch and Learn to fall back on, so we don't actually need the Lycanroc. That's my cat all over my keyboard. Let's move the keyboard out of the way. Keeping Super Rod, how good is that? We'll just do this. Okay, we don't need second Artillery. I think I'll just be boring and grab Bulu here. Sorry, Buzzwole. You got top 4 at a cup with Bulu. Do I want the list? Not particularly. I don't think I'll be playing Bulu myself. No offense. I've tested a decent amount of Bulu myself, like, since the Anaheim Open, so I've got a relatively good idea of what I would like my list to look like. Yeah, the wedding was so good, Jake. It was great. Some highlights included watching Nick dance, watching Nick get carried down the aisle, and just watching Nick in general. I need to see a ruling if I can discard with that. Yeah, Mad Captain, we can see you on the chat. My chat's being a bit weird as well. I think it's not just you, though, because I tried to type in the word test and it didn't show up, so something's going on. Okay, they didn't quite have the magical turn that they were hoping for. Their turn was still pretty good, but not quite magical. Let's cycle this Octillery to hope to get Guzma. I think these are... well, we have to take these 3, so... no choice in the matter. Where are the videos for all of this Nick content? I know, right? The world needs to see those sorts of things. I mean, he always wants to Guzma, right? Guzma's probably his best way of moving. He can, like, do a strong charge, I guess, to retreat. I guess we force Guzma, even though his hand size is big. Because it means he can't do much else with his turn. And it means we can hold this sick hand. This means you can watch and learn without a discard with the choice band. I guess we'll do it. Oh dear. Is pseudo worth? I thought it was mainly for Guardy. I think it's for Bulu, Mirror, Volk, and Guardy. I think it's just a good swing card. Good against Zoroark even. It's good against everything. It's just a good card. Okay, so he did have the Guzma after all. Does he have the choice band on top? Or the Fury Belt? Well, that's a decent hand, isn't it? We currently can't end them. But we can gust up Vikavolt. So either we go down to 4 prizes, or we deal with a Vikavolt. Only one candy's gone, so I think just going down to 4 prizes is just better here. We'll try and get another out some more Octilleries, because why not? So 120, 150, we don't want a Guzma. We'll hold it for next turn. And this is science. Okay, but we don't need to deal more, do we? He has 30, we deal 150, so we say no. Okay, science is good. Now that I know that, that's good. Good news, everyone. We did a thing. So they need Bulu, Grass, and Guzma all in their hand to win. We couldn't end them. We still require stuff to finish out our game. Sudowoodo is so broke. Good card, Sudowoodo. Watch and learn, boys. Need I say more? Beast Ring is also pretty broke. Yeah, Beast Ring looks to be a very good card. Uh-oh, he's going to have everything, isn't he? He's going to have Grass Energy, Bulu, Choice Band, Guzma. Oh, God. What a skillful player. Oh, okay. I was wrong. How does Buzz look in theory for next format? Stock up or down? I think it's, you know, way too soon to decide what the format's going to be like. Like, way too soon. So, we can KO the Oranguru in the active with a simple Brooklet for Regirock. If I promote this Buzzwole. If I don't promote Buzzwole, we can Guzma something and maybe hit Elixir for game. How many cards can I thin from my hand? Not enough to get artillery draws into our last Elixir. So it's probably But if I do Lele, I can't Lele N. So that means we need to Guzma. We need to stall this. Okay. This is going to be weird. Okay, well there's the Regirock. So that's even worse because we can't Brooklyn Hill any cards out. This is literally like the one card that we didn't want to draw. So, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy played. Let's play the Brooklyn and see what we got going on in here. We don't want to use any of these cards. We're going to try and do some shenanigans. And we'll see what happens. This probably isn't a good idea. It's a 180 HP poke. Could do multiple keeping the thing for N is still fine. On reflection, the best thing to do was probably promote this and not be forced in. So I should have played N and hoped to hit Lycanroc with Octillery draws. That was probably the thing we should have done. But he can just gust the game. Oh dear. What a mess. What an error. I probably should have won that game because the end was always the right decision there. I don't know what I was doing really. Just being dumb. Being greedy to try and win rather than not lose. I was definitely in a position where I should have tried to not lose there. So dumb. Tits are playing Buzz Lycanroc. Play better than me just then. That's my first tip. N was always the right play there. I don't know what I was doing. Got hung up on the trying to win the game thing. Trying to not lose was way better there. His hand size was way too big. He did have a Ranger on the board though. That's the only like consideration points I can give myself. Do I think Leipzig, Brazil will change the AUIC meta? Yeah, it has to. They're the last two regionals before the event, so 100%. The game's so global now that people in Brazil take note of results. Oh, sorry, people in Australia take note of results in Leipzig and everywhere else. It's always an indicator. Just how, like, we can look at results in Australia and be like, well, these are interesting. And people take notes. I'm drawing weirdly. Well, don't worry, he's put zeroers down, so we're fine. We drew very well. Is 60 in the face that bad? Not at all. Is putting damage on the Zorua helpful? I guess it still is, just because of so many damage increases we can have. We can KO away Zoroark without having to use Knuckle Impact, which will eventually be helpful. Insomniac, thanks so much for the follow. Will I be attending Loughborough on Sunday? Yes. Well, they're teching Mew, which means we lost the game. Whoops. Nice tech, nice tech. Looks like we got Volk. I'm running getting coffee quickly. Oh, I've boiled the kettle already. Quick! Oh, yes. Okay, thank God for that. Times like this, we're happy we play Rod instead of Stretcher. Should probably check if it's in the deck, you know. It is. So are 4 elixirs, and elixirs are so important that even though I've just discarded 2, we're going to play N instead of Sycamore because the elixirs are still integral to our win condition against Volk. Turn 1 attachment to Rockruff isn't horrible. We're going to retreat it out anyway. Choice Band isn't ever too important, so we can toss it. It's another matchup where Sudowoodo looks pretty good. Putting Buzzwole down and putting him active, how does that sound? Doesn't sound great. Putting anything else down in the active doesn't sound amazing either. We do have another Floatstone though, so maybe it's just Regirock that goes active here. We just shove him in the active because we have a Floatstone in hand. It's kind of telltale, but we'll see. those tools didn't really matter. Getting rid of the the floatstone on my Rockruff could actually help me later on. So they're playing the Starmie build rather than Artillery. Tut tut. Floatstone on a single retreater. Yeah, the energy was important enough on Rockruff. We'll attack with Lycanroc in this game, I would imagine. And just having energy here threatens it, so it's going to manage his bench size. You get to keep this tasty hand, which is nice. Could have used a skateboard, yeah. Not yet on PTCGO though. So they've had 2 Steam Ups, so I wonder if they can find themselves Baby Volk. Yep, there's the Ultra Ball. So you'd imagine they'd have another... Oh, wow. So they have Stretcher in hand, right, every time. Also, yeah. Probably Stretcher. There's Letter. Oh, so it's the Letter build. Interesting. Them playing Letters instead of Elixirs could be a way for them to lose the game quite easily. So now we'll grab Buzz. We'll slap the strong on. We'll get ready to retreat Reggie. I want an Abyssal Hand first because doing a cheeky KO on the Staryu could be nice. Far from an Elixir. We're going to put down another Rockruff. Seems good. We'll put the Floatstone on Artillery. We still have the outs to Lycanroc to Gust if we want to. So we can take this cheeky 1 prize knockout. Set up this as well. If he's playing Letters, you assume they don't have Elixirs. It's a risky assumption. Just because they've made questionable plays, I'm not certain if it's the list that I have to question or the plays that I have to question. You know what I mean? But we can probably counter with a Dangerous Rogue even if he goes nuts on us. So I feel fairly content to go for the KO on the Staryu here. I think it's still worth setting up the Volcanion, the baby, rather than the EXs. I still think that, because... yeah, Fury Bell's just a beetle, isn't it? Like, there's never going to be enough turns for us to Jet Punch around a Volk for this damage to matter too much. So I wouldn't stress too much about it, but I think just in practice, this is probably the best place to put it. So they were holding the Stretcher. They telegraphed it with the Ultra Ball play that they did. So now they're going to have to recycle it. Brooklyn Hill back out their Staryu most likely. Yep, and we can target it down again next turn if we want to. Or we could go for a Dangerous Rogue based on his board. But if we have a 2-energy Lycanroc and a Buzzwole with 2 energy, it's not going to get knocked out this turn. So I think we're pretty chill here. They're going to Skylar for Sycamore. That's very slow. Power Heater for 80 is good. Both Volks getting powered up. We're just going to Guzma this and Dangerous Rogue, I think. Alternative is to Guzma this and keep with Jet Punch, get an extra attachment in. But I think the Dangerous Rogue is too good here. We're also getting rid of a Steam Up from his board. which is nice. I'm going to go for the one without Floatstone because it can't be choice banded. Of course. We'll go for an Elixir. Feels good, man. And we'll pop this off. So let's see how much steam they can produce. Getting another letter here. See, this Volk is so much slower, right? And we know they have Sycamore. And Sycamore just isn't doing the business. We can Guzma this, that'll have 3 energy on it this turn. With this, take 2 more prizes. Then we just attach here and we can KO this at any point. Just feels pretty good spot for us. An Elixirless Volk seems like a good matchup for this deck. What was the right play for my opponent? I don't really know because I don't know what their hand was. Hard to tell, but they've not been managing their bench very well. They've not played around Dangerous Rogue at all, even though we had 1 basic energy on us. I just think the list itself is the issue. Playing no Elixirs in Volk is pretty much suicide against this matchup. Near enough. Then we get a nice space beacon off here. Turn attachment to the Lele, so they're trying to respond on the Buzzwole. That seems pretty intelligent. I'm just thinking if 110 is ever a good. 120, 124, 150. Or do I start committing to a new Rock Ruff here? Energy is only important if I attach a strong to this guy, so you may as well attach this here. Go for the Knuckle Impact. Strong Energy and Guzma are good prizes to pull. They're very behind on the prize race. They're forced into Lele. I guess attaching here was still right because any form of Gust wins me on these. So the attachment there was wrong. Something to note. Extra attachment here, and they're doing all they can. Space Beacon, more like Space Beetle. How's it going, Nick? You good? There's the response. So let's start with this. Unfortunately, we drew one of the few unplayable cards. That was our other artillery. We have a Lele in our deck and 3 Ultra Balls, so it's definitely not right to get a target here. So we'll just shuffle it up. Guzma Energy is still our win condition. We only have 1 basic in our deck, but we do still hit it off the Elixir. It actually hurts our outs to win with Lycanroc Gust, so we'll keep it in the deck. Just play the card to thin for an extra draw. Super Rod is certainly helpful. It doesn't get us game this turn. Yeah, my attachment was completely wrong there. I don't know what I'm up to. Making some big errors today. So we always play this. We just get multiple of these back. They're good cards. We can still win by Lele Sycamore and find Lycanroc plus energy. So we still have reasonable outs, but we did draw into 2 of our Ultra Balls, which is slightly unfortunate. Well, never punished, I guess. Multi-switch was another out if we didn't hit energy at least. Yeah, the attachment made it harder than it should have been there. I don't know why I was overthinking the attachment last turn. I'm still learning this deck, as you can probably see. I'd be very surprised if we ever lost that matchup just because they don't play elixirs. It was mine to lose. Hit all them cards like your Yugimoto. We had 2 outs from our 7-card dig. 2 outs for the Lycanroc. Lots of outs for energy. If we miss energy plus Lycanroc, we just attach to the other Rockruff, and then we have 2 things that are ready to finish off the game next turn. So we would never lose in that spot. It was just, I made it harder for myself to win that turn. I will be doing a little meta chat later on today. Get the old spreadsheets out, everyone's favourite. Just see where we're at in the game right now. Dodging a Skullgrunt. Looks like we're up against an Energy Denial deck, the Wishy-Washy Wolves type deck. We do play the right Rockruff for this matchup, so that's good to know. We could one-hit KO this Celesteela, which would be quite memorific. Sad that he Skull Grunted, then we top deck energy. Floatstone is game. Because we can absorption. We haven't taken any prizes yet, even with resistance. We're doing 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26. Yeah. Whoops. Hello there, friend. It's funny that the Celesteela is in the list just because it has fighting resist as well. Oh dear. What a mess. He got pretty unlucky there. To Skullgrunt, no energy. Is pretty harsh. Looks like we're up against Frogs. Frogs is a weird matchup. You can sometimes tempo out on them just with lots of Buzzwole attacks, but we'll see. We have another double elixir hand. Celesteela, this opponent must own Bitcoin. Are they still pricey on the ladder? I've not been keeping too much track of it. Oh, the hand's so strong. Elixirs are so important in the matchup as well, but I have to get rid of one here. Strong energies are so good on Froakie for KOing them. Have to be careful about whatchamacallits. E-hammers. Is this a hand that we just pass on? Next turn I can Ultra Ball away our top deck and do all the shenanigans. It also may bait him into not putting down a Brooklet Hill for another throw key. I think it's a hand that we pass on here. Yeah. I'm okay with this. As long as they don't end us in response. Okay, they're going to be a wise old cookie and get another Froakie out with their turn 1 Gladion. Bubble is something we didn't factor into our calculations. $10, $20, $30, $40, $20, $30, $40, $50. So we can never rock throw KO if I'm going to Ultra Ball for a Guzma. I could Ultra Ball Guzma, try and hit double Elixir Bedrock Press KO. But that sounds dumb. Just a little bit dumb. I'm scared of E-hammers blowing us out, so I'm going to do this line. Oh, not like this. Well, at least we didn't go all in and do the Guzma, hope to hit 2 on Regirock, huh? There's always that. Suboptimal Frogs list, not enough Zoroark. We don't know yet, do we? Well, I guess now we know. Are we going to see any Mega Zoroark now that that's a thing? I don't understand why it's a thing. It sounds like a pretty bad build of Zoroark in my opinion. Like, the Grass Weakness is great and all, but people can just choose not to attach tools, and then even Grass Weakness doesn't KO most of the Grass Weak stuff, because the Break ignores weakness and resistance with his attack, and the regular Yanmega just does 50 base, so I think the Yanmega is a pretty bad addition to the deck, watering down a Golisopod build, essentially. Joe, your greed was immense. I think I would play the turn 1 hand. Elixirs are the key to the matchup. I value them so highly because you need to establish 2 Buzzwole out in order to respond to their GX attack turn. So I don't think it was greedy. It was only punished by exactly Bubble Heads. And he would have to have 2 energy in his hand to do that. And he only had a 4-card hand, right? At the time, after his Gladion. So for him to have 2 of his 4 cards to both be energy, for him to actually want to go for the bubble. When I passed on turn 1, he still chose to bubble. I think I was in the right, but we are up in a bad spot now. I almost said some funny words. We're definitely in a bad spot now. What's a worse idea? Yeah, Mega Zoroark or a Lowland Golem Zoroark? Probably still a Lowland Golem Zoroark. But yeah, Mega doesn't offer much. Like, how badly do people have to play to see a Yanma and start choice banding their Lycanrocs? You know? They gotta be playing pretty badly. You'd have intended to ditch the energy with Ultra Ball, get Buzz, then double Elixir into N. I couldn't do all those things. I didn't have enough cards. That's why I passed. I would have had to have always... I always would have ditched one of my Elixirs, and I wasn't happy to do that. So that's why I passed. But it didn't work out. Clearly. Because we missed 2 Elixirs. Is there any line of play that keeps me out of this? Do I have to hope for some stall of my own here? Try and slow down the game. Ten Japanese players is like 1,000 EU players. It's just not true. There are a lot of Japanese players who play Pokemon and are way less competitive than us Europeans. They play purely for fun, and it's something I do kind of admire about them. But they love to bring jank, and that's why you sometimes see skewed results. There are literally like probably less than 50 Japanese players who actually want to like win worlds as a goal rather than just play some Pokemon and have some fun. We're gonna keep going down this dark, dark road that leads to nowhere pretty much. Ten Japanese player equals 1 US player. I mean, it's weird to do a calculation of any sort, really. We're going to hope to stifle some sort of setup here. It's the only way we can come back into this game. We're already so behind on attachments that it doesn't feel worth trying to like catch up on them. We're just going to try and stifle the game in any way possible. They play Pokemon like we play Candy Crush. That's not a terrible analogy, to be honest. Wait for Candy Crush to be competitively streamed. Of course they play Kukui and Wally. And Octillery. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? Those are the best cards for this deck. And Gladion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 energy played. This game has been such a clown fiesta. You'd like me to play Zorro Buzz Lycanroc instead of just the Brookler Hill deck. We've been playing around counter-catcher all game. Okay. Don't have Shuriken on top. Okay. All of our gusting has got us slightly back on track. It's just that we're out of gusting now, and he does have 3 Froggos. At least one of his breaks is in the bin right now, and he's played 1 Rod so far. That moment when something actually works. Now all we need to do is end them out the game somehow. That's a scary card. What's my broad topic of Theorymon this week? It's going to be catching up with the meta, basically. Where are we at in the metagame right now? It's going to be my topic. Four, five, six, 7 energy. Benching this means I can lose to double shuriken, so we probably shouldn't do that. We have no more Guzmas, so we can't pick up that Feeny. Picking up N from the top is pretty broken, though. We might be able to get through 2 Greninjas. Unless they are the ones ending us here and still hitting lots of water energies, then I'm pretty sad. They did develop a Staryu last turn, which is the only thing kind of scaring me here. Oh my god, they played both and they got it both up. And they even field blowed the float stone. So what do I even promote here? I'm out of float stones and I'm out of Guzmas. Which means I have to promote my Lycanroc. That takes another... Yeah, I can't win the game after that Starmie came down. I had to try and end him out the game. Oh, he has all 3 energy in his hand. Oh, no. That feels like a bit of a whoops. So we're going to stitch him. He's stitched, right? He's so startled. Oh, we missed the water. Oh. Okay. You still didn't do it. What? Wait. 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 I mean, we still lose, but it's funny. Wait, we don't still lose because he doesn't have an energy in his hand. We can just stitch again. Wait. What a mess. What a mess. What a clown fiesta game this is, man. Absolute clown fiesta. Oh, you're so skilled, mate. Teach me. Oh, man. What a fiesta. What clown fiesta? I pretty much gave up after turn 2. And then just like doing random stuff for a little while. So I let that evolve into something terrible. Suda has water weakness. I thought it was grass. I'm dumb. I mean, that game was messed up from turn 1, right? I need to look back at my opening hand. I don't think I had a clean Ultra Ball to do anything good. I would always have to sack energy plus elixir, and I wasn't really comfortable with that. So that's why I held. But then on turn 2, we missed both elixirs, and he bubbled heads, which doesn't always happen, especially when you pass on turn 1. And he had to have 2 energy in his hand. So there was lots going on that first turn. The first 2 turns of action from both me and my opponent were where the game was ultimately won and lost. The rest is just a blurry, doesn't matter because he's a Greninja deck and should overwhelm me at any point. But he made it harder for himself. I made it me. All the elements of an OmniPoke game. What a clown fiesta that was. Not going to attach. The Buzzwole guard builds are more likely to be like Acerola spamming and stuff. So I don't think it feels right to do it, but seeing as though we have no other option this turn, we'll go ahead and eat our words. Jeepers. That's mighty kind of you there, sir. Our hand sucks again. Watching them so bad. Forcing Acerola. I mean, if he Acerolas, he's unlikely to have the Garbotoxin, which gives me the most outs for Ultra Ball plus Octillery plus Lele. So I guess we sacrifice some energy in the hope that he Acerolas to waste his turn. I guess. I mean, he doesn't even need to Acerola. It's only 30 damage. Yeah, what am I talking about? More memes. A group of you have been testing Dustmane Necrozma and found it underwhelming early game. Have you found the same problem? I played double Dialga to get drawing cards after I turn one Bridget. That's the way we fix our early game issues. Discard one elixir. Yeah, see, my captain, that's the thing I didn't want to do. There was no, like, I can't attack turn one anyway, right? So I think holding the stuff was better because the elixirs is what really helps you tempo out. Like, you need to establish 2 Buzzwole with 3 energy on them in the game, and elixirs is everything. It just looked way worse because we missed both of our elixirs that I was, like, valuing so highly, you know? And he got bubbleheads, so every reason for us to keep the card was blown away when we missed everything we wanted with the card, right? It was even worse by the fact that did we even get an attachment in the following turn? I can't even remember. It was just all sorts of bad from the end. Just serious clown fiesta. I'm pretty sure I was right, though. I'll always admit that when I'm wrong. It happens often enough, as you've all seen. But I think in that case I was right. Once again, it just looked way worse. Also, it was a Greninja player who Gladion in turn 1 and had a 4-card hand, so the end looked like sketchier, right? Actually, we went first, so I didn't have that information. Never mind. What a pro. We have to, because we don't want this Remoraid to die already. Oh. Well, guess what's dying? We're gonna eventually smash down this Garb. Because he's playing Strongs, I'm guessing he doesn't play Rainbows. So I'm not too concerned about my item usage. It's something that's in the back of my mind at the moment. Oh, he does play Rainbows. I'm dumb. Should be in the front of my mind. Uh-oh. We've got to have a way to deal with this. But oftentimes, having abilities is going to be the way to deal with it. And he's going to evolve into this one anyway. Does he have... no ace, at least. Okay. Did I even see E-Hammer in that game? No. But it was turn 1. And his list was clown as hell. So we couldn't accommodate for that. Having abilities is nice and all, but we can wait another turn. I think. We'll see. See what these prizes are like. Like, we're drawing 3 cards this way. Whereas we would be drawing 4 cards with Artillery. But it would be way less impactful because we weren't taking prizes. And if we weren't taking prizes that turn, then the Acerola would absolutely destroy us. More cautious? I think my way was more cautious. Because the elixirs are so integral to the win condition against Greninja, in my eyes. Discarding elixirs is more greedy, more aggressive. Just to establish 2 energy on a turn where you can't attack anyway. Whereas I was trying to establish 3 on a turn where I can attack. Cat, what are you up to? No ability lock. What a dream. So 190 to 10. We can take the KO. How many elixirs we've been through? None. Okay, so taking the KO looks good here. The Omnicat jumped down. It's like below me right now. I mean, ending their hand away is going to be good, but we still have to be worried about any tool attachment. So I think just trying to establish elixirs is still best here. So we'll Sycamore for now. You know all those elixirs we were talking about? Whoops. Playing lots of items, because lol. What's a Garbodor, am I right? This can draw me into energy cards, which can get my elixirs at least. Like, it makes my elixirs work, which is kind of good. Making elixirs work is nice. We are clogged with energy already in our hand, but what are you going to do? So he's going to respond, be a turn away on our artillery. So we need to somehow take our last prize next turn. With hopefully not an ability lock. That would obviously be very scary. If it's just an N without ability lock, I'm very happy. Having no elixirs off of our artillery draw and Sycamore is a bit rough. Please no tool. Kartana does nothing. I guess it gives him another win condition with Blade GX, but he already has the one-turn attack win condition sat right here. We did get the dream outcome. I'm pretty sure we don't have any basics. Yeah. Feels pretty good, man. Definitely a hard matchup. I'm playing pretty weirdly today. Not like good weird, I'm just overthinking simple stuff and then just missing simple stuff as well. You know what I mean? I'm like making the sort of like further ahead decision that with sort of sacrificing the here and now decision. Playing pretty weirdly. Benji, was that you? No, it wasn't Zebra Hunter, right? You're just saying good job on the win. Any Sylveon Hooper games? No, but Jack is heavily experimenting with that deck, so you'll see something from Jack soon. Probably on Wednesday, I'll test against Jack playing Sylveon, so keep an eye out for Wednesday's stream. I promised myself after going to Brazil to not test lock or like denial decks for a while. Just got here is the list from your YouTube video on Buzzrock. The list is one card different. I added in the multi-switch for the 10th basic fighting. That's the only change. Discuss it more tomorrow. No, it was a small decision, but actually, like the analysis. Yeah, I mean, a lot. I feel like I don't know. I want to look back at it as well and think like, how integral were those two cards that I didn't want to discard there, just to establish some sort of semblance of board. It also meant that if those two elixirs were to miss, then I had the end to reload. I was thinking the elixirs hit and then I end and it all looks great. But I also feel like you need those elixirs to hit to win the matchup that we were in. So it's kind of a weird one. Nice nice Remoraid there, bruh. I'm jelly. Little jelly monster. I just missequenced. Like, my first action of the game was wrong. What a meme. I'm always using a Sycamore here. I'm not going to give him more cards, so I'm not going to end. Just have to make sure that our other Lycanroc is in deck, which it is. Super Odd's in deck. Okay. Looks like our opening attack might be the GX attack. Issue of committing everything to Rockruff, of course, is that he can go for the Gust play into KO with Buzzwole with a strong energy and a Regirock. I may attach just a Watch and Learn here and be a little bit safer against all things. It's a turn like this where corner could be decent, you know, but oh well. I could even hold this hand, you know. On second thought, this actually looks like a hand that's worth holding. Because next turn we could get a dangerous rogue Sycamore play. Sorry, Bloodthirsty Eyes, dangerous rogue Sycamore play. Okay. They have a 2-card hand. So lol order, then I completely changed my turn. Just because I have to play around Lycanroc so much. Oh, nuts. Okay, we can still do the play. Oh, see, they just missed 2 elixirs. They've played all 4 of their elixirs now. So they have no more acceleration throughout the game. And that just happened, folks. The phrase whoops comes to mind in times like this. You know what I mean? Hum-tee-tum-tee-tum. Just kidding, mate. I want your Buzzwole. Come here. Whoops. Evening, Elias. Joe sold troll. Yeah, had to BM there. The term was just too strong. Needed to be BM'd. What's going on here? What's going on here? We got some Remoraid spice, and we got some Lycanroc spice. What are you doing in the active as well? More question marks for the scrapbook. I mean, he has no more energy, right? So There's a cat behind me scampering about. You can probably see him. There he is. He's just gone with the wind. Oh boy. Crunch for 70. The comeback. You're on Team Mad Captain and you play and roll with it. Maybe. Did you hear about the clown comment said toward the Chelsea manager? Mark would be proud. Yeah, obviously I saw it. Mark would, of course, be proud. We want to establish Rem Rage this turn. That's the goal. Whoops. Well, we're hitting 160 with a threat of doing more with a strong energy. Yeah. Do I put this as a mirror? I don't even know what I put it as. We'll just say that they spent all their elixirs and we dangerous rogued. Are those cats permanent or just visiting? It's still like an ongoing debate in the house. I've grown attached to the cats now. My mum really wants to keep them. But this isn't like my house. This is just like a little cottage on the side of my house. Because inside the house, we have this Jack. In the house we have 3 dogs, and the dogs are bad enough against other dogs. Around other dogs. So who knows what they're going to be like with cats. So at the moment we're sort of like umming and ahhing what to do. So I think Jack's playing Sylveon Mill. Yeah, he is. Okay, let's have a look, see here what we're working with. All of our energy, 3 Guzmas, 2 float stones. We want to establish artillery because he plays delinquent and will happily spam it against me. We're going to try and pressurize the Sylveon and hopefully cash in on the fact that he maybe can't get multiple basics down. Attaching basics to play around E-Hammer, not playing any more cards to play around delinquents. How does this happen like all the time? I don't know, man. I don't know. So, Eevee becomes Sylveon. Let's see if he has any other bench Pokemon or any way to find any. Joe's hosting dogfights at his home. Yeah, I meant to say around other dogs. Against. Whoops. So we can end away the first ribbon. Obviously, floatstone's a priority here. So is artillery. Cat's all over the shop behind me. Got some stage fright as well. USP45, how's it going, dude? What's this cat up to? Staring at me. Walking around. This is a long ribbon. Hello. I'm not sure if they're used to me enough yet for me to pick them up, so I'll just leave them do their own thing because they're still a bit jumpy. No floatstone or artillery is sad news. I think we just play one card and pass. He thought someone grabbed the cat from behind the curtain. I hope not. Otherwise I'm in danger. But they're probably just biding their time because they know that I'm hard as nails. Classic. $240 is a lot of HP, huh? Omni Thief. Cat's at it again. Whoops. It's not the outcome we were after. Let's start punching some stuff. Is Jack spicy with the 101 Guardy? No, he's not spicy. No God of War on his list. I think he's playing one Baby Hooper. Trying to do the fairy quest in peace. I'd let you do as much as possible. Probably. Probably. Okay. Don't tell him that we play Espioniacs. I won't say if you don't. Pretty sure Buzzwole doesn't have enough to keep up with this deck. Especially with our weird start. You want to play Xenius Break this weekend? Good idea or not? I think it's in a fairly safe place right now. I don't think there's any outright bad matchups for the deck, so go ahead. I think my only advice would be to play a couple of E-Hammer right now. I think they're really good in Xenius Break. No more than 2, but 2 does the job against a lot of things. Slows a lot of people down. The likes of Buzzwole is important to slow down. Zoroark variants, Lycanrocs and such. Spending my ends, maybe a little aggressively here. Only one remaining. That's going to have to be for exactly recovering big cards. You'd also play Baby Mewtwo. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. End into double puzzle. Seems good. Interesting that he had the Skull Grunt back and he still chose to... Sorry, he had the Flare Grunt back and he still chose to Skull. It's a strange decision when you know that there's a free energy for you. He does gain information of our hand though, which might be as important for him to know when to max potion and when not to. Maybe the price of information was good there. Or the value of information, I should say. Looks like it's a Healy Boy turn. He may be a little bit more risque and give it one more go. Need some help on the list, quick jam. Yeah, I'm always got my eye on Xerneas, don't you worry. Cat's at it again. What's good and expanded right now? It's been a while. Zoroark's good. Not much is good. Buzzwole Bats, or like Buzzwole Landorus Bats is good. Buzzwole Garb is good. Donphan is good. Toad Garb is actually quite good right now. Basically the format's revolving around different Zoroark variants, so decide based on that really. There are actually, there are actually some good stalling walling decks in that format as well. No, I'm not going to give out my list. Yeah, I can show you my latest Xerneas break if you want to. This game's going to take another like 10 minutes where I lose. Spoiler alert. Like, I don't ever win this game with the resources I have left. 3, 4, 5, 8 energy left. No prizes taken. He still has 1, 2, 3, 4 physical max potions. Bunch of Acerolas as well, which is the other problem. Like, he can start Lucid meaning Acerola, and I will eventually deck out. So, I don't think this deck has the tools to beat a Sylveon deck. I think our win condition against Sylveon is to get the cheesy Elixir win. I think at this point we should just scoop him up. I don't see a win con. Oh, I forgot. I got straight back into another game. I'll do Zenith after this game. Promise. Remind me. Well, Super Rod again looks so much better than Rescue Stretcher. They've set their stall out early with the old Mewtwo. So in the face of Mewtwo, you probably want to hold Elixir. That's a lot of Elixir. Hold both and have potential Lysander next turn. Or Guzma next turn, I should say. If I KO this, he has to promote Zorua more than likely. But then I can Elixir, attach Guzma the Mewtwo, then be plain sailing. Tackle OP, man. What's corner? Okay, they're gonna grab N. Yeah, quick jam. I think the Zoroark Toad Muck deck is probably the best deck in Expanded. Paying retreat. Or just getting the beats off. Let's find out. They still have an attachment, of course. Let's see where this trade takes them. Don't know if they got it. I don't know yet. Oh, you didn't run Muck. Still running the corner Rockruff currently, is that a mistake? I definitely would play the promo Rockruff if you have access to them. It's not like the worst thing in the world if you can't, but the thing I just did then, pretty important sometimes. Ooh, missing energy. This turn gets pretty nutty now. So we Ultra Ball away Floatstone Brooklet, grab ourselves Lycanroc, then we Bloodthirsty Eyes this, multi-switch attach, so we do 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, pretty nuts. Oh, no. Ha! Why game? Okay, new plan. Hit the elixir. Well, we don't even need to hit the elixir. We can multi-switch Guzma. Okay. New plan. It's less good because Mewtwo can bop. But we have elixir to make it look better than it is. Okay. So much worse. So much worse now. Cat's doing some ninja tricks. Oh, the elixir miss as well is harsh. Okay, so Guzma Mewtwo doesn't sound terrible, you know? Just deal with it. Take ourselves to 4 prizes. I think it's the right move. With only one... Okay, yeah, he scooped. Right, I need to go to the toilet quickly. Alright, MVP Rockruff, you know it. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at my spreadsheet for today. Let's do this. Haha. No, hold on. That's not the one I want. Do I want this one? No, well, that's not working. So we'll just look at this very quickly. We were able to... So this is my current testing. Oh, Jack's on. There he is. Look. Let's see if he replies with anything. So we have lots of things going on down here. Jack's been testing some Guardy Sylveon recently. So this is just from today. I had 3 losses. Vikabulu, where on misplay. Where we misplayed our last turn. Should have got N. They still had a Rangaroo, so they could have won there. They still could have had the outs to win the game. We're a little bit behind. I need to look back on that and see how behind we were. Was it missed elixirs? Was it missed Guzmas or Bloodthirsty Eyes on certain turns? Oh, yeah. Whoops. So yeah, we actually lost one more. Whoops. Then we lost to Zoropod. We got our Buzzwole donked by a Mew EX into what was it called? First Impression. Then we lost to Greninja. That was a Clown Fiesta game. I want to look back at that turn 1 most importantly. And from that turn 1 that went very downhill because of double elixir miss, it became very weird. I should have played more normally than I did after missing the 2 elixirs. I started being defeatist and just going for weird lines, wasting my Guzmas just for stall for 1 energy. Probably wasn't ever right. So the game is sort of discredited because I gambled on turn 1. I chose not to gamble on turn 1 and then got heavily punished on turn 2. And the game sort of spiraled. I think if I went for a more routine approach where I still keep trying to draw and get manual attachments each turn, I would still have lost. Probably in a faster fashion. So my weird lines probably kept me in the game longer than it should have. But I was never going to win that game after my turn 2, like, sort of double elixir miss plus bubble getting heads, all that stuff. And Sylveon absolutely bossed me. I mean, our win condition against Sylveon, I don't think this deck has enough fuel to win without Energy Keeper Carbink. So it's a reasonable way to lose. I think the only way you can do it is by getting aggro, elixir, attach, win. I think that's the only way you can beat Sylveon, really. It's actually fairly reasonable to do it, though, especially if you go first. You have lots of digging potential to hit elixirs, to bop them, as long as they don't have outs to Pokemon, which is actually rare before they're ribbons, so... yeah, and then if the game goes long, you never beat Sylveon as the Buzzwole player, in my opinion. We never took a prize, so that just shows what it was like. Jack also hit every heads, in fairness to us, but he was never, like, anywhere near close resource-wise to losing the game. Everything else was pretty good. So let's go back to the stream quickly. That's not the right one. We'll go back to that quickly, and then I'll just pick up a new Excel sheet, and we will look at the metagame and try and establish what's going on right now. Give me a sec. Don't forget the Xerneas break. Good point. Good point. Let's do that, because I almost definitely did forget it. Let's do that. Okay, let's clone this. I definitely won't be playing it with Garb. That was an experiment that went quite badly. Turns out drawing cards is important. And turns out special energies are also important. Special energies, even though there are E-hammers rife right now, I think it's still important enough to play. I think this is where I would be at. 3 Guzma may be a little greedy, but ultimately you don't attack too often with the deck in terms of live streaming to win. I think that's where I'm at. You made Xerneas break with Sylvally. I think a lot of people are sort of tending towards that. I'm not certain on it, to be honest. Like, the slots you gain by putting Sylvally in, you take out Fairy Gardens, so you don't really like lose any slots. But you do become more ability reliant, and you have more 2-prize Pokemon on your board. It does give you, like, a way of dealing with early pressure, whereas sometimes this deck literally just folds to early pressure. So that's like the reasoning why you do play Sylvally, but it's more fighting weakness on your board. and that's quite a bad thing right now. So I think this would probably be my way of playing it. There's also the potential to fit in Mewtwo or other tech basics, but for now I think that seems like a decent starting point. Taco Tocano, how's it going? Yeah, so that would be where I'm at with Xerneas. I should probably just call it. I should probably keep that around. It is me after all. Okay, let's jump into the Excel sheet. My favorite time of the day, always. And let's try this. Let's try this. There you go. Okay. Lost a Buzz 3 times. If that's the case, I can definitely see adding in the Baby Mewtwo as a tech. I remember in North American Internats, we played a Mewtwo because Espeon Garb was the hype at the time. And it was a good card in general, just for being like a 2-hit KO machine in like regular matchups. And if Buzzwole's a problem, then definitely go down that route. I think maybe a Choice Band's a cut. Potentially an N. Might be a little bit greedy. What were the other cuts? Maybe one DCE can be cut. But I guess if you're adding Mewtwo, DCE raises in value. So, right. Top tier decks. Actually, before I do my own thing, let's quickly go on to Limitless TCG. Limitless. And we'll also get up, what's it called? Someone's PC. Because these are some very good resources that you guys should all be using, if not already. They provide a really nice meta snapshot. Let's start with someone's PC. They've done a meta snapshot of recent League Cups, which is pretty cool. And they've provided a tier list for standard and expanded. So let's look at their tier list right now. It's very well presented and they've got nice graphics and stuff going on. The way that they've actually done their tier list is weird because it's not done entirely based on CP earned in the week. I'm not sure if it's over several weeks or they're just biased. I actually need to know that before I just outright call them out. But their tier list, I don't know how often it changes, but for example, there are some, something like here, Glisspide Garb has the same amount of CP as Sylveon, but they're in different tier lists. So take it with a pinch of salt. Make sure you keep an eye on the actual points they made each week. I'd like to hear from them to see how they distinguish their own tiers and whether or not it's just sort of over weeks prior as to why they're in different categories. But from League Cups, it looks like the Buzzwole variants, the Lycanroc variants, both Buzzwole and Lycanroc are getting a lot of CP. I'm also not certain if this is all countries or just American tournaments. That's something else I want to look at. And yeah, Tapu Bulu is the other deck that apparently, based on CP right now, is top tier. Yeah, based on League Cups, Vikabulu is definitely like a hype deck right now. Lots of chatter about Kikabulu and other Vikavolt lists. I think it's the most commented post on Hey Fonte right now is what's the best Bulu list. There's all sorts going on. I have my own opinion on Vikabulu, but then again, I ended up losing in top 8 to Vikabulu at my most recent cup, and there was 2 Bulus in top cut. They both made top 4. So Bulu's winning. Bulu's hitting good numbers. It's doing well in cups. Still yet to perform on bigger stages like regionals. I think that just shows the true power level of the deck. That's my own opinion. It has always been underplayed, I guess. You can say that. It's similar to Greninja in that it's got a stigma against it. It feels like people are happy to experiment in the cup because it's just a cup, right? Whereas they don't pull the trigger in regionals. I don't think you'll see top players playing Vikabulu anytime soon. So League Cup results will be different too. Regional results, but if you're going to cups, these are definitely top tier threats you have to look out for. Lycanroc, Zoroark, probably alongside Buzz Lycanroc as the two best decks in format. I would also lump in Gliscopod in that mix. Gliscopod has a worse time against Vikabulu, which is a bit of an issue. Lycanroc being able to Bloodthirsty Eyes up the Vikavolt much more efficiently and deal with them, and then they can be out of Bulu's... Like, the Bulus can't attack at that point, and you can be okay. So I think Lycanroc has more tricks for things like Vikabulu and other setup decks, because you can just much more aggressively gust stuff with the Lycanroc, so... I'm definitely happy with these two being top tier. Vikavolt Bulu seems to be an anomaly in how many points it's gained recently. On to tier 2, Gliscopod Zoroark. I would still put this as tier 1. I still think it could be even better than the Lycanroc build. I do love and appreciate that Bloodthirsty Eyes is broken and opens up so many doors on different turns to have more optimal turns, but I do think Gliscopod Zoroark is still very, very strong. I much prefer Gliscopod Zoroark's early game to the Lycanroc builds, because you have Wimpod, which gets you into Coco, which means you're not sacrificing an early prize every game, and the typing is still fine. Like, you're pretty well covered with Buzzwole Lycanroc, and you're pretty well covered in the sort of half mirror match. The cats are going mental. I think they're playing with each other. But yeah, I still have this as top tier despite its sort of low performance. Volk and Frogs. I've been playing Volk recently. I know it has its flaws. It feels to me very similar to Buzzwole Lycanroc. Definitely weaker than Buzzwole Lycanroc, but it's definitely safer at the same time. You have a free Gliscopod Zoroark, and you have a pretty free Gliscopod Garb to, tier 2 at least decks. And you also are slightly favoured against Buzz Lycanroc, I feel. And I think you're 50-50 against Vikabulu. I have bad results against Vikabulu, because I double lost to it in top 4. I did beat it in Swiss. I mean, I think maybe you're 40-60 against Vikabulu, I think it's a close matchup, but there are definitely key turns where it's well, you gust up the Vikavolt and you just win. But who knows? So yeah, Volk is kind of fine. I think it's solidly tier 2. Same thing for Frogs. Frogs is in a good spot. Only real auto loss is Gliscopod Garb, and then there's the people who actually can be bothered to play Tina promo, of which there aren't enough right now, I feel. It's still being one of these decks that only 5 people play in at a tournament, and then easily one person will top cut with it and someone goes far. It rarely gets to the finals though, because it can just beetle itself. Frogs also has a fairly awkward Buzz Lycanroc. I know I lost to it on stream today, but we had a really weird turn 1 hand, and then we double missed Elixir, and they hit bubble heads, so our turn 2 was null and void basically. So it doesn't have amazing... its only bad matchup is really this. I think it's 50-50 against Golly Zoro. I think it's 50-50, if not worse, against Buzz Lycanroc, and sort of 50-50-ish against Vikabulu. If Bulu plays Fury Belts, which, hardly any of them do anymore, it's free for Vikabulu, but as long as I don't play Fury Belts, the Greninja player has a win condition, so... Matchup-wise, it's not horrible. And with way less Garb, it's actually reasonable. Got to be a tier 2 deck, as much as it hurts me to say. Played Frogs at Canic and lost numerous Gliscopod games. Yeah, I mean, it's close, right? Or your hope is just Stitch plus N as your win condition. Sometimes they hit the Grass Energies and the Guzmas and the Acerolas, and sometimes they don't. But in testing, it's 50-50 against Zoropod. Obviously, the Gliscopod Garb is auto loss. So this is the deck that did really well at the regionals. Not been showing up too much at Cups, at least in the UK. I've seen only a handful of people playing it, total. I think just it can't draw as well as Gliscopod Zoroark. Your typing is good for Greninja, of course. If you want to hard win that, this is the deck to play. You're pretty reasonable against the Lycanroc Zoroark and the Buzzwole Zoroark, but typically overall, Garble is just inferior. I think if you're expecting lots of Vikabulu, this can be a good play though. Just because it's always had a good matchup against Vikabulu, because especially because Vikabulu's only ever playing 2 Field Blower. I don't think anyone's playing more than 2 Blower in their Vikabulus these days. So you should always be favoured in that regard. So this could be, once again, becoming a better deck. And I know there's people clowning around with, like, Greninja Zoroark. So it's a deck that I feel should probably lose to a lot of the Zoroark variants. And that's why it's not tier 1. But there may be a tipping point where there's going to be more, like, Greninjas, more Buzzwole, Lycanrocs, and more Vikavolts than Zoroark decks. I don't think the time has come just yet, but it's one to keep an eye on. And also it's quite good against the mill decks. Mill decks are sort of all in and around tier 2, tier 3. Blizzpod Garb's one of the safer ones against them. Volk is the safest one against mill. This auto loses mill. This is pretty bad against mill. It has to win in the first, like, 2 turns. Vikabulu's decent against mill. This is terrible against mill. Me55W, thanks so much for the follow. What else is bad against mill? Greninja, like, can win, can lose, depending on delinquents just cheesing out the game and stuff. And if they can actually establish Starmie without it being, like, trapped. So here's tier 3, apparently. Sylveon. So even though Sylveon had the same amount of points, they've put it in a different bracket, which is just weird to me. It might be based on the number of people cutting, because I think Sylveon just got a couple of wins, but not many cuts. So again, I don't know how their calculations go. But Sylveon's actually in a good place right now. You just saw Jack destroy me with it. And Mill in general, like, I would put... if they're calling Sylveon tier 3, I would definitely call Wishy Washy Walls tier 3 as well. That's been showing up in cups as well, with, like, the Zerka trees, the Hoopers and stuff. That just has some straight up auto wins, which is pretty good. And Sylveon is similar. You can just do the max potion chaining, bodybuilding dumbbells, 240 HP is a lot to deal with. Field blower counts are reducing. So much flare grunt spam. You have Lusamine to give you even more turns, even more fuel for burn. So Sylveon is sort of geared up more than previously, and there's, like, not a huge amount of Vulcan Frogs. These are probably your hardest matchups. Your win condition against Frogs for Sylveon is to delinquent them out the game, and then start actually attacking with your Sylveon. And against Volcanion, again, it's sort of a combination of factors. The delinquent could help if they're only playing a Rangaroo, or if they can't establish Octillery. Lots of stall, lots of Guzmaring could help out, run them out of Float Stones, Field Blowers, and that sort of stuff. I think Wishy Washy Walls has a slightly better time against Volk, but Sylveon could be fine as well. So I think those are your hardest matchups. Glyspod Garb isn't easy, just because the amount of Guzma, Acerola, and Floatstone that they play. They should really only be Floatstoning their Glycopods and have one Garbatoxin set up, so you can't, like, Acerola and keep evolving your Sylveons very quickly. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty well-placed, good deck. Mill is definitely in the mix right now, just because of the amount of DCE plus 4 basic energy decks are out there right now. Decisoro, sort of like the forgotten deck, the forgotten Zoroark variant. I still don't hate it. I think Devolve is good right now. Devolve probably cheeses out your Sylveon matchup. You have a bad Greninja, which is worrying. Your Volk is actually, like, even. I think your Glyspod Zoroark is even to favoured. Buzzwole, Lycanroc, pretty unfavoured. Vikabulu, pretty unfavoured. So yeah, you can see why it's not doing super hot right now. I think the Vikabulu is one of the tipping points of the deck. Definitely been trialed by a lot of people. Overall, I think it's probably not the best Zoroark variant you can go for. There's a lot of, like, fighting weakness right now that people are trying to target the Zoroarks, so it's just not worth the hassle for the Decidueye player. Even with, like, max potion shenanigans and whatnot. It's kind of a really hard deck to play as well. So it's like the least consistent Zoroark build that has the least consistent win conditions. It's pretty weird. Yeah, it's definitely a lower tier deck. It can still take wins though, because it's inherently powerful when it goes off. And then Gardy, living down here. What's going on, guys? What's going on down here? So Gardy maybe do a comeback, you know. Like, Garbodor's nowhere. Okay. Glyspod Garb is obviously still a hard matchup. We saw that from Worlds. Even though, of course, it won. Greninja, obviously an auto loss. That's fairly around. Volk's an auto win, but that's, you know, not played a huge amount. Glyspod Zoroark is like a close matchup for certain. I think you can definitely win it as Gardevoir. Buzzwole Lycanroc, obviously a hard matchup for you just because of the cheese factor. I think there's two weird things with Gardevoir right now. You kind of want to play Sylveon so you can like have a really good Vikabulu. And either way, people are cutting Kukui from Vikabulu, so they're pretty greedy in the first place. What was I going to say? Yeah, you can play... Like, you don't even need Sylveon to beat Vikabulu just because everyone's going so greedy. But if you want to hard win Vikabulu, you can play Sylveon again. But I think right now, just because Buzzwole's here, and Buzzwole can even be teched into this, which I think it's a good tech in this deck. I think you want to be playing Mime and Max Potions. At least play 4 Max Potions, right? Like 3 minimum plus Mime. Or just go 4 Max Potions, no Mime. Just so you can actually build your Guardies up. I think it is a risk. Obviously it's a stage 2, so there's their own risks to it. There's still enough Zoroark to play double Gallade and it to be like really good. Artillery is obviously great right now. Parallel City is like absurdly good right now. That's one of the best reasons to play Guardi. By the way, Parallel being teched into this deck and this deck is pretty good, by the way. Parallel is definitely a tech to be on your radar right now. But yeah, Guardi still has inherent power, and Max Potion's still really good in the meta. It feels like just no one can be bothered to play it at the moment. I think someone just like dropped a memo that Gardevoir can't win games anymore, but I don't feel like it should deserve to be this low. Like, I think it's definitely better than Decidueye Zoroark. Like, I kind of want to put it in tier 2. It's just matchups are sort of bad. There are games where someone just Lycanroc's the right target and you've lost the game. But there are still those games where you get your nice Bridget, your low and Vulpix going, you get your candies and you're chilling. Who knows, though. Don't think it's tier 1. Any consideration for Zoro Gallade? Kind of how there was Gallade Octillery. CCG retirement home. I think Gallade Zoroark is... I think, honestly, if I was going to play Gallade Zoroark, I would actually play the Greninja Zoroark deck that Azul was testing. Gallade's, you know, like, good, obviously. Like, for Mirror and for half mirror. Like, the half mirrors, it's good against. It's really bad against frogs. It's not great against Vikabulu. I don't know. I think I'd rather play either straight Zoroark or Zoroark Greninja than Gallade. It's something that Luke tested a bunch, and he was like half sold on it for a while. There's definitely good... the draw engine is like really nice to premonition into trade, but who knows. So yeah, that's the Someone's PC snapshot. Let's have a look at Limitless. Let's go to decks. Let's go standard for the past 3 months, see what's winning based on points. So here are the decks based on the last 3 months of standard. Zoroark just in general doing the best. So they've got a mixture. Golisopod still taking more points than Lycanroc, so that's really interesting. Bear in mind the last 3 months does include... let's have a look. Yeah, lots of tournaments. So... maybe it's a little bit... Can we limit this even further? Past 3 months is the lowest filter we can do. Okay. But yeah, Pod still up there, definitely. Gardevoir with an interesting mix in at second. Taking a lot of points here and there. Buzzwole, all sorts of variants, but Buzzwole Lycanroc seems to be far and away the best way to play the deck. That's the Brookler Hill Artillery build that we saw in the finals of loads of events. Interestingly, Garbodor is still pretty high. Dramper and Espeon. So they've got Golisopod in a different category. So potentially Garbodor is even higher over the last 3 months. But we'll look more at the most recent tournaments for the biggest sort of look in, because this feels quite outdated for the last Like 3 months is a long time in Pokemon. Volk, with some little consideration to Silvally. That did well at the London League Cup. Gliscopod, looks like lots of points go to the Garbodor variant. Interesting that they gave some points to a Gliscopod Zoroark rather than a Zoroark Gliscopod. That's pretty interesting. Greninja, Decidueye, Silvally, Vikavolt very low. Super low. Like, this is more reasonable, right? Vikavolt down here. You know, 10th best deck. You know, that's interesting. Zoroark break decks, Metagross, Xerneas, and then you start looking at... I mean, Sylveon, Wishy-Washy are reasonable decks. I think the Genesect Venusaur is a 1 tournament deck. Hemo Raichu, I've not tested enough to talk about it. I think it's a hard deck. Like, it feels sort of weaker than Wishy-Washy and Sylveon to me. So, instead of looking at the last 3 months, let's look at the most recent events. This is going to be more of an indicator. So, Turin, again, this is back. This is like almost a month ago now, 3 weeks ago. We saw Gliscopod Zoroark win the special. Buzzed Lycanroc. Let's look at this list, actually, just out of curiosity. Yeah, it looks like a pretty standard list. It did play Sudowoodo. Yeah, super standard list. Was this actually the list I played today? No, because I played 2. I don't play Zygarde EX. I played 2 Lele. Is that the only difference? Oh, he played 4 Buzzwole. I only played 3. So leading Buzzwole, high priority. Yeah, so I play 3 Buzzwole, 1 multi-switch, and I play 2 Lele instead of Zygarde. Interesting. Guardy Sylveon still did well, so people are really... No, did you deck out? I guess Robin was drunk. Have I seen League Cup results from last weekend? Or have they been put up yet? I'm not sure. Joe's technologically inept. Whoops. Wait, is there something I'm missing here? Buzzgarb doing well in recent League Cups. That's interesting. I said something about that like a couple of weeks ago, that it could be the better or the safer way to play Garb right now. Maybe even safer than Gliscopod, because you have more spaces than Gliscopod just because you're a basic deck. I guess you commit a few of those slots to more energy cards, but what do you think of Evo Soda and Zoropod if you can make space? I think 1 or 2 is fine. Nico, Guardy was high rolling. Well, maybe. I mean, Odvin's good, right? But sure. More Zoropod. So Zoropod seems to be much more of a European respected deck than American. It feels like every American jumped straight to the Lycanroc build. Greninja's in and around. Speaking of high rollers, no one's really picked up Philip Schultz's list, I don't think, too much. I'm still skeptical because it's a lot of special energy reliance, which is one thing that makes me really worried. Still playing 2 of the Trash Launch Garbs. Celesteelas, Mew. Lots of things that make me nervous. Double Parallel's pretty cool. That can do a lot alongside Toxin. I think people are basically just trying to find the way to make Garbodor work. I think it's still in and around like tier 2 Garbodor, just because it's such a powerful package. It's just, how can you make it work? I think Buzzwole might be one of the best ways to do it right now. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. Tier bad. What else we got here? Nothing too surprising. Yeah, lots of Zoro. Lots and lots of Zoro. Let's look at Memphis. This was the same weekend. So, Pram won with the Zoro Lycanroc list, which in fairness looks pretty much like optimal list. I think when I first looked at it, there was some question mark cards like Energy Lotto. Only one Acerola was a big standout card as well. I was like, whoa. But you see the Kukuis and you see that you're trying to go for a much more aggressive line. Fun story, I actually played a Zoroark Gliscopod mirror at the weekend. Just in testing with friends. And I was borrowing someone else's deck and they forgot to put 2 of the Acerolas in my deck. So I only played with 2 Acerola and one was my last prize. So I played a mirror with only 1 Acerola in my deck and I still won the mirror. So it can sometimes be like less bouncy than you think. So just the one with puzzles may not be too terrible. I again am not happy with the reliance of special energy. It's so punishable right now. Buzzguard where you don't use Max Elixir, it's useful. Yeah, I kind of like the multi-switch has sold me on Buzz Lycanroc. I think there's been enough turns where it's been pretty valid to keep it. Not so sure about in this list. Lotto's interesting. I mean, you're playing 9 energy already. How often is the Lotto going to be a big deal? I think you could probably cut that. Maybe even just like a Evo Soda or something like that. Another Guzma. Like, his support account is actually super low, even with 3 Lycanroc. His Lycanroc line is super high. Maybe I'd play a second Acerola over 3rd Guzma. I've not tested enough of this deck, because just in my head, I still think that I would play Pod over Lycanroc. Gliscopod Garb with Azul, pretty strong. The 2 Buzzwole Lycanrocs. So yeah, the Buzzwole Lycanroc and the Zoroark decks are definitely establishing themselves as the top decks. I think just Zoroark variants is still top tier. Buzzwole Lycanroc, top tier. We'll start going down. So the Wishy-Washy had the breakout here with Yoshi. Definitely an interesting list. I've played around this with a few friends. The Xurkitree is awesome. I'd play 2 if you could get your hands on them. I would play 4th Lusamine as well because the deck is like so Lusamine focused. It's unreal. Like Lusamine is the crutch of the deck completely, pretty much. There's a few other counts that I changed eventually, but Lusamine is like so important. Once you hit that, you have like 3 turns of stuff to do. So I think playing 4 is like really cool. Even though you can in theory loop your Lusamines and get more Lusamines, it means over 2 turns you're not playing 2 like disruption supporters. So if you play the full 4, it means that you Lusamine less, which means you're doing Handiworks and Grunts more. So playing 4 copies makes more sense. Getting hold of Xurkitrees is pretty good. I still haven't because they're too expensive. You put Parallel into your Zoro Lycanroc list and won a cup with it. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really good. Can I cosplay a Zoroark when you go to Cardiff? I don't know. I'd have to dye like... I'd have to have like a ginger mohawk with like black on both sides. It could work. We'll see. I'll be staying with my grandparents in Wales though. I'm not sure if they'd approve of the lid. Vikabulu's in and around, so they're sort of being pipped at the post, which is interesting when you look at like the actual top 64. Like, what bad matchups actually are there? And the fact that it's still not making it to the final frontier is like pretty interesting. Like, you would think it would carve through the top cut, but it's still just not getting there. Good old Zernies. Lots of Guardy right at the bottom. Right at the bottom. Frogs as well. Sammy Sakum. What a guy. So yeah, let's look at like... So this is like my top tier right now. So Zoroark, Gliscopod. Zoroark Lycanroc has to be respected. And Buzz Lycanroc. I think these are the only 3 top tier decks you can think of, or like I would consider. Cat's going crazy behind me. Ooh. Okay. That's too big. We've got too many decks for me to be like that. Bulu's still not winning things in TCG or VG. I don't think anyone can really argue with this tier 1. Like, tier 1's pretty self-explanatory. Tier 2. I'll put Greninja. I'll put Gliscopod. I'll put Volk personally because I think it belongs there. Vikabulu is the question mark deck, right? Where does this guy go? Killing Cups right now. Matchup spread is strong. It's just inherently such a meme. This feels like the best placed deck in the format. Invulnerable to Mill, which cheeses so many games. Good enough against Greninja, which cheeses a boatload of other games for the top decks. And good against the top decks. Like, good against all these top decks, really. It only loses to these things by being itself and drawing badly. Cats are so weird, man. Even more consistency takes out consistency. Also, what type of Vikabulu list is best? Are we going to go down this road? First of all, guys, Bridget's a good card. Play that in Vikabulu. It's a good card. I know people are, like, getting a hard-on for Kikabulu, but there's literally no mathematical sense to playing 0 Bridget. You can play 1 Bridget and increase your outs to turn 1 Grubbin by, like, 7 or 8 cards. So, there's no logical sense to playing no Bridget. Artillery versus Oranguru is like the next debate. This is one that's like more like an actual question. Right now I'm just loving Artillery, but that's because this plays Hill, this plays Hill, this plays Hill. So you can really get multiple Rem Raids down without it actually spending your Bridget. And Artillery is just so good right now. What is Kikabulu? Kikabulu is a Vikabulu list that plays 4 Sycamores, no Bridgets, 2 Lilies. Basically, the big differentiation between Kika's list is that he doesn't play Bridget. Instead, he plays Lilies, and he plays like 4 Grubbins. Like, there's just some weird counts going on, basically. He did get 2 Vikavolt out on me last week, turn 2, and absolutely bopped me when I had a supportless Volk hand. The only reason why you would want to keep with Oranguru, well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it makes your Bridget better because you can more freely Bridget turn 1 because you don't need any other supporter in your hand. If you have Artillery, you need to Bridget, but you also need to have another Artillery in your hand, or another supporter in your hand, or another Lele in your hand, or another Ultra Ball. Like, your hand has to go somewhere beyond the Bridget. Whereas Oranguru, you can Bridget with only 1 Ultra Ball, only 1 supporter, only 1 Lele, and be content because Oranguru can bail you out when Artillery can't. So there's definitely the debate here. I personally still like the Artillery. The 2/2 does suck up spaces. You go down 1 energy, which hurts. There's definitely painfulness based around the Artillery, but once you have Artillery established, you just literally like can't lose. And if you're already like an Exodia stage 2 deck, You should probably play Octillery in my eyes. Did my list play Zero Sycamore? Yeah, but I would probably change that. So Sycamore Counts would be the next thing. I think 1 to 2 is correct. Personally, I tried the zero list. That was fun. But you can actually trim down on your Kukuis again. I remember the time of me making the video, Gardevoir was a top tier threat. So we had to make space for the Kukuis. I think putting Sycamores back in is obviously going to improve the consistency of the deck. Does my Bulu list play any Pokemon Recovery? You can play Super Rod as Recovery. I would play Super Rod over Brock. I know, Brock's kind of too slow, even with Octillery. I would never play less than 2 Recycler. Like, Super Rod's not a replacement for Recycler. Super Rod's pretty reasonable. I saw that Patrick played it in a League Cup recently and won with it. His list again was pretty interesting. He's been playing Vikabulu since Bremen, so he's definitely an opinionated man on the deck. I think he played Mew and Clefairy and Super Rod and 4 Sycamores, so his list was pretty interesting. Super Rod can be played. I don't think it's mandatory. Like, even just playing... I would probably play Super Rod over 4th Grubbin because you're playing Bridget already. But Super Rod's not mandatory. The only reason why you would kind of play it is because there's so much Lycanroc right now that targeting Grubbins is oftentimes a win condition for people. I love that no one actually cares about my Bulu chat. They're just doing their own thing in the comments. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Bulu. I mean, I've played a good chunk of Bulu at this point. My testing with Bulu was actually pretty sick. How long ago was this? Do I still have Bulu down here? Sushi Bulu. I mean, it was only a low amount of testing, but my only losses were to Gardy. And these 2 losses were before I put in the Kukuis. Oh, and Gardy up here. So my Sushi Bulu was actually testing like pretty insane. But a lot of these wins, you can see things like, oh, I got double candy. Broken. And then you can just say like, you can just see loads of stupid stuff. And this isn't enough games to really like... tell you how good the deck is, you know. You need to test it like maybe 100 more times. But yeah, what's the secret to a consistent Bulu deck? There's not a secret. Play your Bridgets. Artillery's good. Supporters are good. And Bulu hits good numbers right now. Tier 2. Established. I'm calling it now, boys. Tier 2. Only, like... It's 100% a tier 2 threat right now because it will be played enough for you to have your deck choice around it. Or, like, not really around it, but you don't want to go into a tournament losing to Vikabulu, especially a smaller scale tournament right now. In larger scale tournaments, maybe it can be your bad matchup. Obviously, lots of people are taking it as a bad matchup because these are the tier 1 decks, so... You think Palpad will be closer to Versus Seeker than people think. You have to remember that Palpad did come out a set before Versus Seeker and was only ever a 1 or 0 count. I think Palpad will remain a 1 or 0 count. Potentially a staple one of in things like Zoropod. In a similar way to puzzles being more Acerolas, Palpad can be more Acerolas, and then you can puzzle the Palpad. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be like a 4 of in any deck. It's just too slow. But I think it could easily be a 1 of in certain decks. Definitely not as good as Berserker, never will be. Okay. I actually kind of want to put all the stall decks in at tier 2, because I think stall's in a great place right now. I'm kind of interested in seeing how good stall decks will be after Ultra Prism, because Glaceon is like an extra stall deck that kind of loses to the other stall decks, but can also cheese wins against them just because it like red cards and cheeses and stuff. But in order to actually take the prizes, it doesn't have enough fuel as the other stall decks. But I think the stall decks are really well placed. Like, the tier 2 stuff is more awkward than the tier 1 stuff for the stall decks. The stall deck should beat all of the top tier decks. Sylveon has a win condition against Greninja, so does Wishy Walls. With Tina Promo and potentially Wobbuffets, you can have a really good Greninja. Your Glyspod Garb is awkward for in both counts. Your Volk is sort of awkward in both counts. Probably better for the Sylveon than Wishy Walls. Vikabulu, definitely awkward. Can be winnable with, once again, 2 Wobbuffets. So I think if you're playing Wishy Walls, we're going to play double Wobbuffet. Oh, the cat's gone. Where? And if you're going to play Sylveon, you just play a simple list. I wouldn't play Guardy. Although Guardy does give you an out to Volk, which is funny. And gives you a powerful GX attack. What are you doing, cat? You want to be back on screen, do you? Oh, look at his little face. Her little face. I always call this guy a he. Because her name is Mr. Pooperson, even though it's a girl cat. So I always call her a he. So yeah, Guardy's so good in it. So, the tier 3 stuff is now, somehow, Gardevoir. Oh, hold on. I want to put Buzzgarb up here. I think this is an emerging deck right now. Definitely one to keep your eye on. I think Buzzgarb can really do work against these decks. Reasonable against Buzz Lycanroc. I think you probably have to play Elixirs to keep up with it. Similar for Volk. If you play Elixirs, I think you're fine. Vikabulu you should be fine against. So, yeah, I think Buzzgarb matchup-wise actually looks really good. Stall decks being the biggest weakness of Buzzgarb. Maybe that's something we try and build. I think it's really well placed. Really, like, stupidly well placed. Better placed than Glyspod Garb, I think. Let me think about this. See, it's a weird thing, because I remember early on testing Buzzgarb, having a nice little streak going, really enjoying the deck. And then we didn't see anything from it. But I think it's once again in a good place. I think playing the Espeon is really good. It's probably the best devolved deck we have in the game right now. Buzz Lycanroc's a hard matchup. I think Devolve is just so strong with Buzzgarb. Getting screwed by Rainbow Energy. Yeah, I think the Buzzgarb I'm thinking of wouldn't play. It would only play Ability Lock. It wouldn't play Trash. I think it would be Strong Energies and Elixirs only. You are, of course, allowed to disagree. So what are the other decks in Tier 3? Decisoro. Xerneas Break. Xerneas Break is Tier 2, actually. I don't care what people say. Xerneas real. Be real. Xerneas, be real. Yeah. Xerneas breaks bad matchups. Again, they're like few and far between. Like, Xerneas isn't bad against anything. Xerneas break better than Guardy. What's it bad against? What's it bad against? Nothing. It's bad against nothing. So Valley Metals I'm putting down here. I think it's really dropped off the map a little bit. So much fighting hurts the deck. E-hammers everywhere hurts the deck. Lack of general consistency in comparison to the Zoroark variants hurts the deck. Like, you've got all the issues of playing a Zoroark, but you're not having the draw engine of Zoroark with Silvally right now. Xerneas tier 1. Like, seriously, what are the bad matchups with Xerneas? Greninja's, like, kind of 50-50. If you play E-hammers, it's pretty close, because you can, if you hit splashes at the right times, you can definitely outdo them. Gliscor Garb is, like, free. Volk, that's one of your harder ones for sure. Depending on whether or not they play choice bands. Last weekend I moved to choice bands, and I basically had no out to Xerneas. If you play Fury Belt still, you have a way better time against Xerneas. But playing choice band means you hit 210 way easier. So I think the trend would be to go towards choice bands if you're playing Volk, which opens the door for Xerneas. Vikabulu's always been kind of weird. Your Vikabulu's way better if, once again, if they don't play Fury Belts, it's way better for you. Wishy-Washy and Sylveon should be pretty free. Sylveon's way harder because they play parallels and they can plea you. Wishy-Washy walls should never be an issue though. Buzzgarb shouldn't be too big of an issue. Again, their elixirs can sort of cheese you, but they can't really chain attacks very well. Same for Buzz Lycanroc. They should be powering up the Lycanrocs, and then with like strong energy support, they can get KOs with Buzzwoles in the back. I think that's a better route. That could sort of cheese you out. Also, the Lycanrocs can take your EXP shares away and stuff, so that's something to be concerned about. I think Buzz Lycanroc's one of the ones you have to tech for, so let's just shove in Tech Mewtwo down here. Zoroark and Zoropod seem fairly routine. Obviously, they can do shenanigans because they can draw a bunch of cards and have optimal turns. I think Parallel Cities being teched into these decks could cause an issue for Xerneas, but I don't think enough people do that right now, so I think Xerneas is solid as a tier 2. It still just backs on its own consistency for being like a big win condition. And the fact that people are waiting turns to evolve just gives you turns to Geomancy without them ever responding on you. So I think that's good. What about Mew EX and Xerneas break? It's something I was talking about with Luke. It's a 5th Xerneas in the active, which is good. But it's also 2 prizes. And it's quite simply really bad to give away 2 prizes. I would sooner have Mewtwo, because you're not worried about a 1 energy Buzzwole. You're only worried about a 3 energy Buzzwole. And it's another single prize Pokemon. What are the other decks in the format? What else have we got, huh? Need to go back to Limitless. I think we've covered pretty much all of it. How can Guardy be tier 3? It beats most of the tier 2 decks. It doesn't beat Greninja. Doesn't beat Gliscor Garb. I think that's 50-50. I would hinge on the side of Gliscor just because of more inherent early game consistency. Volk it beats. Vikabulu it beats. Stall decks, it can win, it can lose. Obviously its GX attack is going to be a big swing in that matchup. Wishy Walls should be fairly awkward for it though. I think it doesn't beat all the stall decks. Buzzgarb it should lose to. Xerneas it should beat. So yeah, I think it's just got a bunch of good and bad matchups, but it's also a stage 2 deck. Limitless Craigasm. Are there any other decks that I'm missing? I'm not gonna put this on my... Maybe that's rude. Who knows? So yeah, that seems to be where I'm placing everything at the moment. Solgaleo and Metagross? Oh, Metagross is like way down here. Where is Zoro Frogs? Ooh, good shout. Where does Zoro Frogs land? I think from testing, I tested it more this weekend. I honestly think it's low. I could still be playing it wrong. Like, I'll give this a generous question mark. Where's Espeon Wob? Zoro Frogos. So, Zoro Frogos, essentially, its win condition against all of these things is to get a turn 2 Candy Stitch. Against Buzz Lycanroc, you're really bad, actually. Against Greninja, you're still quite bad. I tested this with Tabal at the weekend. I think just the fact that they will naturally get more Greninjas out than you do, and the fact that they can Espeon your Candied Frogs means you're pretty bad. Blizzpod Garb, obviously you're losing. Volk. I've not even been close to typing that right. You're pretty good against. Vikabulu. Stitching is your only hope, really. Staldex, you have a better timing than the other Zoroark decks, but you're still pretty bad. Buzzgarb, you should always lose. Yeah, I think it belongs in tier 3. Espeon Garb, wondered if it would be usable. I think it's still pretty bad against these two. I think the only saving grace is that people are getting greedy with Field Blow accounts. What tier is Yanmega Zoroark? Down here. Okay. So with that, I'm interested in building a Buzzgarb variant. I did have a Buzzgarb built. Let's have a look where we're at. Aha! Look at this. This is interesting. I have it built. What a genius I am. Okay. Let's see where we're at with this. 3N does not sound right. Potowns. Would kind of like more of those. How good is Zygarde? Zoro Ninetales. Oh, that's pretty low tier as well. That can be in tier Venusaur. What do I want to change about this list? The Potown is the thing that jumps out to me as being fairly weak. It obviously does accelerate the... I mean, I prefer it to Field Blower, I guess. I mean, we need something for Parallel City, so I guess these stay. If we're playing Elixirs, the synergy of Acerola decreases, so I think we make a cut. Oh, why am I playing Zygarde? Do I just need something that's not Psychic Weak? His attacks aren't good. We turn off Mew. So we're only really scared of... You think we need Parallel? That's interesting. How good is Luxray Shining Celebi going to be upon released? I've sat down and tried to build Luxray like 4 times, and every time I end up with a list that just looks horrible because of the decks it naturally won't win against. You want Choice Bands and Multi-Switch and Lycanroc, so wait. Zygarde start screwed you a few times in Memphis. Where do we find League Cup results? You can go to someone's PC, you can go to Limitless, you can go to PokerStats, there's all sorts of ways. These cats are still going mental. 12 o'clock, for God's sake. So do we commit down the Elixir route and just be more aggressive? What decks do we not want to attach to? Our Buzzwoles. It's only really like... like Guardy's diminishing. I think the list I had at the time had Guardy in mind. That's why I had more Acerolas and the Potowns and such. So maybe something more like this. 4N seems good if we're the defensive deck. A Theorymon Lily seems fine. Just some extra juice. 1 Bridget maybe a bit greedy. Although we do have our opponent's Brooklet Hills to maybe help us out. If we're being more aggressive, we can have bans instead of belts. That's true, but if we're playing Garbotoxin, then we don't have the help of Regirock EX, and this still helps us hit the 60 HP Mons. Play Fan Club. Why Fan Club? It's rare that you'll just grab Espeon EX. A backup attacker. Yeah. I mean, we did just cut the Zygarde because he doesn't cut it, really. Minus Lele, Sycamores, and the Wicks. Judge for the win. We're not going to play Judge. Nothing jumps out at me as being good. Oh, baby. No. Maybe we just go fourth Buzzwole into the list. And just go super, hello Mr. Fighting Man, I'm a Buzzwole. In a Buzzwole world. Time to bust out Golem EX. Did we just do this? No. Maybe this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 basics. 3 Lele's a lot for a Garb deck. It's still kind of fine. What do we think of this? Maybe Acerola's good enough to still play. This just 1 feels really weird. Maybe this is the deck that waits for Palpad and then becomes way better. Because then you can play like 3 Guzma, cut one in, add in a second Acerola, then make space for Power Pad. Streamline the Buzzwole line to make Garb more impactful, just slow down the game and win by pure energy efficiency. Weakness policy, yeah. The Potown's the thing I'm on the fence about right now. It does make the Jet Punch way more efficient. Parallel versus Poe. The only thing I'm thinking about for Parallel is that we want to be setting up all sorts of things for damage, and as soon as we Parallel, they're like, oh, cool. So that's where I'm on the fence. Yeah, I think Potown can be somewhat of a win condition. Also, it baits more blowers, and baiting more blowers is really good. Okay, I've convinced myself to keep it. The 1 Acerola hurts me. Maybe we do just do this. Go super reliant on Super Rod. Was this a list that I had like 10 minutes ago? It was, right? So the only changes I made was I cut the Zygarde for an energy. And we also upped the N for something. I can't remember what the other thing I cut. Wally for Theorymon Joe, PogChamp. One of each Lucamine, but that sounds jank. Yeah, Lucamine feels too greedy for this deck. Lucamine double Acerola does sound funny though. 1 special charge? I don't think that's all that necessary. Sycamore for 3rd Acerola? That's pretty greedy. When you're a Garb deck, you want to max out on the draw supporters. Yeah, I think this would be where I'd start to test. Yeah, no need for special charge when we're already playing Rod and 9 basics. In the Rainbow build, yeah, it does make more sense. Yeah, Buzzgarb is something I need to keep testing. I think Buzz Lycanroc, also a very good deck. I need to get my hands on some of these Rockruffs if I'm going to play it this weekend. Otherwise, I'd probably just play Buzzgarb for the Bants. Test it out. Basically, I have Loughborough League Cup, Cardiff League Cup, and then another League Cup on the Sunday after Cardiff for me to test before Leipzig. So I think I'll bring Buzzgarb to at least one of them. I'll bring Buzz Lycanroc to one of them. And I'll take one other deck to a different League Cup. Or maybe one of these two if I'm unsatisfied. Or if I am satisfied. If one of them is convincing me, I'll carry on testing one of them for Leipzig. And then I have one more League Cup after Leipzig before Australia. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think that sounds pretty good. There's the tier list once again. There wasn't much about the meta discussion today, but I think we covered like a good hour or so. And I think we made some decent conclusions, talked about Vikabulu, the hot topic right now. I'm sitting on the fence and giving it tier 2. I don't think it's good enough to be placed in tier 1 just because of top tier events. It's not done well. So, yeah. This is obviously standard, by the way. Isn't Cardiff the week after Leipzig? Yeah. Oh, no. Cardiff is the week before Leipzig. Anyway, that's gonna be it, guys. Let me know what you think about this. And we'll be back Wednesday. I think Jack's going to be testing some Sylveon, so that's going to be a snore fest. Can't wait for that. I'll be testing some more Buzzwole variants more than likely. and maybe some Zoroark stuff as well, because even though I know trade is broken, I don't test the deck enough. I only ever play this deck, or these two decks, when people want to test against it. So, woo! See you on Wednesday. I'm going to be uploading, I think Jack's video might be going up tonight. I think it's Magnezone Metals. I recorded Turbo Metals earlier today. And yeah, lots of new Ultra Prism decks coming on the channel. The stream is going to be the thing, keeping it real, keeping it standard. And it's down to the videos to be the new stuff. So hopefully we're keeping the balance right for you guys right now. And yeah, see you guys on Wednesday. Cheers for stopping by.